my particular investigation is to create space for people. Okay, being also trained as an architect, I truly believe that giving undefined space to people, like a park in the city, you know, or a beautiful painting that creates void in an existing surrounding, not only physically but also mentally, is one of the most beautiful things to do. And I understood that for me the most original place of space is white. You have people who think differently. You could all ask yourself the question. You have people who say, for me it's black. When you say like in the sky, you know, when you visit other planets, the space is black. For me it's white. And it's not like just white flat. It has to do with a foggy white, misty white. That's why I use the plaster. And I also understood if you want to create a more generous way of showing this light and this white, you can add color. So I would say for me, color is something that can increase the light, so that can also increase the space. The first time I was invited in the Smack Museum in Ghent by question of the director Philippe van Kooteren. He really gave me the opportunity to pick out a room, and it was also he who insisted for the first time, Stijn, you should really make something site-specific. Use the space as your mold. So this is what I did, and I made a piece in a very narrow space. I made a piece of, what was it, like 7 meters on 3 meters on 1, and it weighed like 4 or 5 tons in the end. So it was impossible to store. It was like an uncollectible artwork. And okay, the thing we didn't know in advance, that was people liked it so much, they had to double the time of exhibition, because people really were asking, like, it's such an experience. It was new for me too to see, like, and also questions, well, why do people like this so much? So afterwards the question of the director came, how can we give this work a longer life than the 3 or the 6 months? And the idea where we came up with, which is a very consequent, not even an idea, it's like a kind of an inspiration, was to keep the mold, yeah, and give like a certificate in which way you can recast the work in the future. Of course, being in Taiwan, first of all, your senses are like involved in a completely other way. The light is different, you know, tastes are different, the hearings are different. So I think unconsciously, some things go into your work, very unconsciously. I think that people in the East, certainly in China and in Japan, they have a completely different way of experiencing the light. I saw that people don't use the bright light. They use like a kind of mysterious light. Sometimes they like to present new work more or less on the edge of the light and the shadow. And this was something very new, and I think when I look at my work back now, the work that I made here and the work that I made in Europe to come over here, maybe there is some difference in use of color. For example, if you use a pink color, the pink color can be very present in a more dark light. And I think maybe the use of that has to do about my new influence in the East. 谢谢。